All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Happy New Year's Eve, I should say. And as we all know, two things that faced a major decline even before COVID was the movie theater industry and shopping malls. Yeah, both of them suffered majorly during the COVID shutdowns. I mean, they were already suffering before that. But to add fuel to the fire, this is the result of it. On top of that, Hollywood's not really putting out a lot of good films. Everything is just being remade. And with all the online services, legal and illegal, we could fetch these movies easily and watch them on our large screen TVs at home. But let's see what's happening in the Chinese cinemas. Let's go.
来给你们看一下现在电影院啊。
Let me show you the current state of movie theaters. There are no viewers. It's like a private screening, just the two of us. Movie theaters across China are...
And let me say this. I'll go back maybe 10 years ago. I guarantee you whoever filmed this, they probably filmed it during non-peak hours, meaning they probably filmed this at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. Shit, this might even be an employee, somebody that works there. So, of course, the movie theaters are going to be dead in the morning. I mean, who goes to the movie theater that early on a weekday? Yeah.
Basically the same. Many films are made, but nobody watches them. If you go, it feels like you're getting a private screening.
I've noticed something strange. Today is Christmas Eve, so I thought I'd check out the Wanda Cinema and see if young people are watching movies. I looked up the Prosecutro. No one's there. It's past 9 p.m., and there's no one in the theater. What's going on? Then, at 10 p.m., Her Story is showing, and not a single ticket has been sold on Christmas Eve. 10 years ago, on holidays, us 80s kids would have been out until midnight at the movies. What's happening now? It's clear the economy is bad, and young people just don't have the money.
现在电影院
Is business really this bad for movie theaters now?
Yes and no. I could take it back to 2005 and 2006 when I was going to the movies heavily. This was my senior year in high school, 2005. Even after graduation, the movie theaters were still jumping. The malls were still thriving. But mind you, this is almost 20 years ago, so, well, will be 20 years ago next year. So, all these seats would have been filled. But like I said, we don't know if this was filmed when the movie theater was closed or what.
It seems like theaters are constantly doing private screenings. This year's total box office is only 38 billion yuan, compared to 54 billion last year. There are just a few days left this year, and I'm here watching System Fallout, a disaster film with Andy Lau, Bai Yu, and Karen Mok. But there's no one in the theater. The attendance rate is so low. I'm the only one here when it starts. Eventually 2 more people came, but it's the weekend.
今年咱们的消费有多么差，给大家看一组数据。
Let me show you some data. This table compares box office numbers on Christmas Eve over the past 10 years. Back in 2014, it was 120 million yuan. The highest was in 2016 and 2017, with 310 million yuan. During the pandemic, in 2020 and 2021, it was still 170 million and 110 million. Even last year, it was 170 million. But this year, it's just 38 million yuan, less than 100 million, a nearly 5-fold drop. This shows how bad our consumption is right now. People just don't have the money, and they're too afraid to spend. It's really serious.
Halt! Well, I mean, this is Chinese, not German. But anyway, yeah. People are too afraid to spend money. No. They just feel that it's not worth it. And, going to the movie theaters is expensive. The matinee is not what it used to be. I remember when matinee was like $5, $6, but now it's like, what, 14? On top of that, now, most of the movie theaters now, they upgraded them to luxury theaters. So we have the recliner chairs. I just live down the street from a movie theater at a newly built shopping center, if you scan the QR code, they bring the food out to you. So you don't stand in line to buy popcorn and snacks and food now. They even sell alcohol, actually. Being that I live down the street from it, I've only been a handful a couple of times. Because to be honest with you, they're not putting out a lot of good movies like they used to. I think the last time, I'll probably go to the movie theater maybe, I'll say once or twice every 3 or 4 months. Like, I seldomly go to movie theaters to see movies now. But anyway.
Chinese cinema is in trouble, and so are the movie theaters. By the end of 2024, while shopping malls are filled with Christmas and New Year activities, the atmosphere is only so-so. But the movie theaters are really quiet. According to data from Maoyan, China's movie ticket platform, on December 25th, the Christmas box office hit its lowest point in 13 years. Not only that, this year's total box office is a disaster. As of December 21st, 493 movies have been released in China, with a total box office of 41.5 billion yuan, far below last year's 54.9 billion. Only 67 films made over 100 million yuan, and most have lost money. Among the worst was The Dragon Escort. It premiered on December 20th and earned just 85 yuan on its opening day before being pulled from theaters. It was a complete flop. The film had a budget of at least 10 million yuan but barely made any money. Then there's I'm an Art Student Dreaming Under the Stars, a children's movie. It had only 3 viewers on opening day, and its total box office was only 95 yuan, making it one of the worst performing films of the year. Most of these poorly performing films are small-budget productions with no big stars, no high production costs, and no marketing. Even though Find Your Love and...
Well, I mean, that's the problem right there. No marketing and no known actors. Now, if these actors in the movie were American or well-known Chinese actors, then yeah, they probably would have did way better and make much more money versus, let's say, the film, because see, here in the West, if you work in the film industry, anything under 500, anything under $500,000 is considered a low budget project. So a lot of times, a lot of these movies don't make more than what they spent to make the movie. Not unless it's Marvel or something else, but you get what I'm saying. Sometimes they outreach expectations. Sometimes expectations go above. Let's say, I don't know what movie, but just in general, let's just say it costs you $200,000 to make a certain movie as a director. I wanted a certain movie produced, and I had to spend $200,000. And then on opening day, it topped out just over time. On a weekend, I made $300,000 just on opening weekend. Wow.
And 100 Million Plan had star-studded casts, they still ended up on the list of worst-performing movies of the year, which surprised the industry.
Is that purple character from McDonald's? I haven't seen that since the 90s. Wow. All right. So that's where he's been all these years. He went to China. Okay.
Especially Find Your Love. It started filming in 2019, and the director had won Best Editing at both the Golden Horse and Hong Kong Film Awards. At the film's launch ceremony, the director promised to win back the Hong Kong Film Award with this movie and aimed for a box office of 2 billion yuan. They invited stars like Huang Shenyi, Zhi Yuchen, Cao Xiwen, and Ying Xiaotian to join the cast. Later, it was announced that stars like Zhou Dongyu, Zhang Yishan, Huo Siyan, and Nie Yuan would also make cameo appearances. However, after 5 years and 3 scheduled releases that were all cancelled, the movie finally hit theaters, and it only made 121 yuan at the box office.
Ooh.
After deducting theater cuts and taxes, the production company only earned 41 yuan. With a production cost of 100 million yuan, it was a huge loss. While it wasn't the worst-performing movie of the year, it became the biggest flop of the summer in mainland China and one of the top biggest losers of the year. The Chinese website NetEase commented on the movie's box office, saying, "Yes, you're reading this right, 121 yuan, not 121,000. It's almost unheard of for a film to make just 121 yuan on opening day. According to the official data, the movie has only sold 2 tickets so far."
What? As heavily populated as mainland China is, that something sounds kind of fishy to me. I mean, you can't believe everything you read, but numbers don't lie. Not unless they're scrambled and mixed up by somebody shady, but that's why they release movies on Fridays. Have you noticed that? All major videos, all major films are released in theaters on a weekend, or should I say Friday night? Because Friday night, usually normies that work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday jobs, they want to unwind. Usually when they get home, they're too tired to do anything, right? But maybe on a Friday they're not as tired because they're off for the weekend, so they're able to kick back and watch a movie with the family. When you go to the movies, you're going to spend a lot, especially if you have a family. I mean, you're going to pay for movie tickets, then you have the snacks, not unless you're going to go eat dinner right afterwards or before, but just to plan the evening out at the movie theaters is going to cost some money. So not only are people afraid to spend money now because they have to save it for electric bills and everything else, but yeah, movies are usually released on Friday nights because most people are going to go out on a weekend night because they don't have work the next day. So they figure they'll make the most money if they release on the weekend.
The article went on. Even if the 4 lead actors had called up their family and friends, they should have sold at least a few dozen tickets. But 121 yuan, 2 tickets, that's just embarrassing. As for 100 Million Plan, it starred Hong Kong actor Stephen Fung and veteran actress Yuan Xiu, but it also didn't manage to attract viewers. Stephen Fung tried a different image in the film, even dressing up as a woman for a comedic bit.
What?
But it only made 74 yuan on its opening day, an even worse result. Many netizens called it dramatic trash and blamed the lack of familiarity with Stephen Fung among mainland audiences for the lack of appeal. According to reports, 100 Million Plan had finished filming back in 2019 and was originally scheduled to be released during the summer of that year. However, it was shelved and eventually released later. Additionally, there were pirated versions available online before its official release, which may have contributed to its poor performance. The patriotic blockbuster A Golden Age as Wished has completely flopped. It was released the day before Christmas Eve. According to Maoyan data, the documentary has only made 714 yuan in total at the box office, with just 13 viewers. On Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, it earned only 70 yuan. Based on the ticket revenue split, the cinema gets about 84 yuan, while the production company receives 59 yuan, and the rest goes to other parties. The film tells the story of 6 young people's struggles, showcasing China's grand development. On the movie review site Douban, viewers gave it 1-star ratings, with many sarcastic comments like, "This is a glorious world as you wished, so here's a star for you," and "The film represents the greatest progress in history." As for the sharp decline in China's box office, Zhang Yiwu, a professor at Peking University's Department of Chinese, believes it's due to a combination of factors, including a lack of quality films and the rise of high-definition streaming services. He said, "In my view, the main reason is the lack of blockbusters."
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And see, that looks like a terminal to watch Avatar. Of course, something like that's going to make money. But basically what he's saying is these are a lot of independent films, it sounds like. These are flip-flop movies that you'll find on Netflix with a lot of cliffhangers. That's basically what he's saying. So it doesn't sound like high quality of production. So they put all this low production shit out in theaters and nobody wanted to watch it. That's what it sounds like. So when you put garbage out, of course it's not going to make any money. Or will it? But then I can't really say that, can I? Let's go back to Fast and the Furious, the first one. They didn't really expect to make a lot of money off of that movie. A lot of people thought that movie was foolish, but look, they're still trying to continue on the legacy, even after Paul Walker. So you just never know how good a film is gonna do until you put it out there.
On Christmas Eve, the box office income was only 38.4 million yuan, around 5.26 million US dollars, less than a quarter of last year's 170.5 million yuan. This was the lowest since Maoyan started tracking box office data in 2011, when the revenue was 115.9 million yuan.
Wow.
Christmas Eve is not a public holiday in China, and the key movie-going periods are the week-long Chinese New Year and the October National Day holiday. However, Christmas Eve's box office is closely watched because it's the final push at the end of the year. Before the pandemic, China's annual box office had been steadily rising, peaking in 2019. But when the pandemic hit, the government imposed restrictions on gatherings, leading to a sharp drop in ticket sales. The recovery has been slower than expected in the past 2 years due to ongoing economic weakness. A review from PP Movies mentioned that in 2024, only 8 films will join the 1 billion yuan box office club, with no films making over 3.5 million yuan.
All right, we're going to stop it right there. Check this out. Have you noticed that the new openings of movie theaters, like let's say a brand new movie theater, they're not as large as the older movie theaters, which used to go from like, let's say AMC 20 screen, 30 auditorium screen. No, now they done dumbed them down to like 10. These new luxury movie theaters, there's only about 10 auditoriums to watch, or should I say 10 screens. Like the number of screens have shrunk because they know a lot of people aren't coming to the movie theaters in masses like they used to in the 90s. So that's one thing I will say.
Unlike in 2019, when there were 15 films that surpassed 1 billion and 4 films that earned over 3 billion. The review also noted that sometimes when going to the movies on weekends, theaters are so empty it feels like a private screening. Yet in this bleak environment, there's a silver lining. The film market is becoming more rational. The speculative investors are leaving. The star power is waning, and the importance of a movie's reputation and word of mouth has grown more than ever. One film producer, when asked why Chinese movies are getting worse, explained, "There are many reasons, but one key point is that you might think censorship has clear rules, but it doesn't. In China, cultural censorship is done by people, and the standards change every year. What passed last year might not pass this year, and you might not even know why." Is the decline in film quality because Chinese filmmakers can't make good movies? Not at all. Chinese creative talent is not lacking. During Hong Kong's golden age, directors like Wong Kar-wai, An Hui, John Woo, and Tsui Hark emerged from such a small place. In addition to mainstream commercial films, Hong Kong also produced works like Chan Kun-shi's Made in Hong Kong. The issues raised about the state of Chinese cinema are complex and multifaceted, primarily centered around censorship and its impact on both creative freedom and the overall quality of film.
Look at those seats though. Looks more comfortable than your couch in your living room. If that's even fox leather or real leather. But yeah, that's what I was saying. A lot of these movie theaters, you're spending all this money to go to the movie theaters now, and I mean, it's a good thing that they did upgrade from those foldable seats, those cheap field stadium seats, and they went to putting basically real living room chairs in the movie theaters that recline and do everything. I mean, it's actually nice. So you get what you pay for. It's just like when you rent these overpriced apartments, they're making everything luxury now to compensate overpaying for it. So, yeah.
Films. First and foremost, the censorship system in China is often cited as a major hindrance to the development of the film industry. It's argued that while China has a wide range of potential film topics, the strict regulations imposed on content limit the types of stories that can be told. For instance, politically sensitive films like The Minister of Namsan, a political drama from South Korea, or Secret Sunshine, which explores Christian themes in South Korea.
So it sounds like, well, I don't know how the American production is doing over there in China, but it sounds like they'll be able to profit more off of our movies than their own. But then we're having the same issue too. Over here in the West, Hollywood's just going through a lot of drama right now. It's like, as you can see, they're not releasing a lot of good movies out other than Marvel, Disney, and all the mainstream stuff. Everything that's making money in the West, in America, are superhero movies. Deadpool, Spider-Man. Those are the only titles that are bringing in money to the movie theaters. Other than that, everything else is so-so. So maybe Chinese Hollywood will have to also rely on the superhero movies too, and that'll probably be their way out of that. So
would face insurmountable barriers in China. These films would likely be rejected before production even begins, as their themes conflict with the political sensitivities in China, especially around topics like religion and political governance. Another anonymous film critic commented that while the overall level of Chinese film and art creation is indeed below the Western average,
whoa, are those sleepers? Those look like the sleeper beds in the airport. That's cool. So first we went from the luxury chairs to where we could actually lay down. Look, there's pillows and everything. That's sharp. And of course you're spending more money. But to be honest with you, going to the movie theaters was always expensive, even in the 90s. I felt like the snacks, the candy was a ripoff, because you're paying $3-4 for a box of for a Junior Mints when the dollar store was right around the corner. Because see, back in the 90s when I went to the movies with friends and family, what we do is we load up on everything at the dollar store and then walk behind. It was the alleyway. We used to walk. It was a whole shopping center, but if you walk down the alley, there'll be a other side. There was like a west side and the south side of the shopping center. Yeah, that's how you do that.
it's not entirely without merit. After all, with such a large population base, there are still many talented individuals. However, the quality of films and TV shows in China is influenced by many factors, with most of the problems stemming from the Ministry of Culture's censorship system. The bizarre censorship standards have led to a distorted market aesthetic. Without freedom of exploration, analysis of human nature, exposure of social darkness, and a history that can only boost nationalism, what else can be made? What's left are just shallow, star-driven entertainment films. Films influence market aesthetics, and market aesthetics, in turn, affect film production. After several cycles of this, serious actors are left without roles, while pretty boys and plastic surgery actresses dominate the screen, earning sky-high salaries simply for reading dubbed lines. Famous director Wang Xiaoshuai's film, Above the Dust, faced over 50 requests for changes from the CCP's propaganda department over the course of about 15 months. Realizing it was likely to pass, he decided to submit it to the Berlin Film Festival. However, the production company was ordered by Chinese authorities to withdraw the film or face consequences. The film tells the story of a landlord's descendant during the land reform period of the 1950s, a sensitive topic in China because millions of landlords were persecuted due to political repression, and their land was confiscated by the CCP. The censors demanded that Wang Xiaoshuai remove all content related to this movement. Sometimes it seems as if censors arbitrarily kill off projects. There are various lists circulating on Chinese internet platforms of films that have been halted, delayed, or pulled from release, with no explanation from the authorities. Almost anything can become a sensitive subject: crime, corruption, poverty, history, superstition, or even sadness. Even films that are government-backed, such as those supporting police and anti-corruption campaigns, might not pass censorship if they reflect the darker side of society. Famous director Jia Zhangke once publicly stated, "We cannot turn Chinese cinema into just a marketplace for propaganda films." Wang Xiaoshuai, on the other hand, lamented, "Those of us who make films know, especially in recent years, that the changes in censorship and self-censorship have made the atmosphere more and more oppressive."
So basically what's going on here is pretty much the same thing that's going on here in the West. As we all know, politics, once politics step into something, they ruin everything. Like politics, they ruin professional sports. NBA, WNBA, PGA, NFL, Major League Baseball, they just messed up everything. When politics step in, they just ruin it for everybody and everything just seems fixed. The liberal agenda, because see, once everything becomes liberal, it's pretty much just no good. So that's pretty much what's going on here. I think I'm gonna wrap it up right here because it's starting to get boring, to be honest with you. I mean, why do we have to go on and on and on about something while we know why something's not doing as good as it should be? It's because of politics. It's because of liberals. It's just a bunch of bitching and complaining. We all know what it is. Basically, it comes down to this. Just make better shit. And stop complaining. Stick to what you know is gonna make money. Stop releasing bullshit in the cinemas. And that might be the answer. I said it might be. So, yeah. Still a good video though, but I'm gonna wrap it up right here. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next year.
Thank you.